Welcome to September's Campfire session, where we'll be talking about how you can configure a custom mission control application. So my name is Omar. I am a senior customer success rep at Aprica, and I've been here for over a year now. And the Campfire sessions are one of my favorite series. Uh, so onto the agenda for today's Campfire session. So today we'll be talking about how you can create a custom application in Salesforce and mainly surrounding mission control features. And this will hopefully give you an idea of the flexibility that you have in terms of creating the application and that you're not bogged down with the default managed mission control application that comes with a managed package. So if you need to cut down some of the features that you're not going to be using, we'll talk about how you can do a lot of that. We'll also talk about how you can apply permissions. So that's for the applications, for the fields as well. So we'll show you how you can make use of permission sets, permission set groups, and profiles. We'll also talk about how you can create and assign different page layouts to users. And then we'll go on to talking about how you can add mission control components to the Lightning pages. So that's the home page, that's the record page, the app page, and so on. Then we'll also talk about how you can update mission control roles and permissions. Outside of the permissions that are found on the permission sets, there's also mission control role record permissions on the role record. So we'll talk about how some of those factor in when you're using when you're making updates to those settings. After this, I'll be moving on to the demo part of it, and you'll have the option to enter in questions if you can via the chat or the Q&A function. If anybody could put in something in the chat or the Q&A function, just let me know if it's working, and then we can go ahead to the next part. And I'll try to keep this. I'll try to keep an eye on on both the Q&A and the chat, just so any questions coming in, and I'll try and answer them as I go. Yeah. Let me know if you're not able to access the Q&A or the chat function. Oh, yeah, there it is. So Scott's able to put something in there, so that's good. Yeah, so that'll be the Q&A section that you can enter in your questions, and then I'll try and answer them as I go along. Thank you, Scott. Okay, let's move to the next part, and we'll jump out of here and go to the demo org. So here we are in mission control right now. This is the default application that that comes with the after you've installed the application. And so you might see there's a lot of things that you might not be using, or maybe a lot of the users in your org don't need access to a lot of this information. So what we'll be doing is creating two separate custom applications, and we'll configure it so that the first user has different level of access, and we'll configure the application for another user who has different levels of access, and we'll see what that looks like. So let's start by creating an application first. So we'll jump to the setup. So you want to click on the gear icon at the top right and go into setup. So once you're in setup, obviously you'll need admin privileges to be able to make these changes. So if you have an admin in your org, maybe you can reach out to them and see if you can work with them, or maybe you are already the admin, so you should be able to access this over here. So I'll use a quick find to look up the app manager so I can create a new application. So the first app that we'll be creating is a application for the implementation team members. So we'll just call it the MC team member app. So right now I'll just click on new Lightning app, and then I'll give that a name here, MC team member app. Let's leave that out. So that's the developer name, that's fine. So this is going to be the MC app containing key features to help individual team members log time and maybe track progress and how their actions and projects are ongoing. So I've got a logo that I can apply here. So I'll just select that. And I'll apply a color here. So XX3399. Okay. So I'll leave the remaining settings as is, and then we can go to the next page. So for the app options here, I'm just going to leave that to standard navigation. I don't need the console navigation for the application. I'll apply that both to the desktop and the phone. And I just want the full setup of options, and we can leave this as is. I want the user to be able to adjust the tabs that they see. So I'll leave that there. So moving on to the utility items. So you might have noticed that when you're using the default application here, you might see some utility items. So you may not be able to adjust some of these. Maybe you're not using all of them. Maybe you're only using some of them. So if you want to adjust that, you'll need to create a new application. So so we're doing that just now. So we'll just add in the log time component here. There it is. So we'll click on that, and then we'll change the panel width to 480 and then the panel height to 600. And then we'll change the icon to a clock. So let's look that up. Perfect. So that's just the one utility item that I'll be adding, and then I can go next. So for the available tabs in the navigation menu, I want to make the mission control tab available for this user, to users of this application. So I'll be selecting the lightning components, and they have a lightning bolt as the icon. So I'll just select that there. And then I'll be needing the projects, and then I'll need the whiteboard, the action pad, whiteboard, action pad, uh, timesheet, so they can log their time, and then we need retro board maybe to do some to track some learnings maybe, and yeah, that's they'll also need access to the dashboards maybe, so we'll add that as well. Um, So that's the list of navigation items that I will be adding for them, and then I can click next row here. So I have already created a profile that I'll be assigning this to, and so I'm just going to be using the MC standard user profile, and select. So only this app will have access to this application. So I'll click save and finish. So now the app part is done. Now we'll look towards permissions, profiles, and so on. So first up, we'll go to the profile that we'll be updating. So that's the MC standard user. I'll open up the user that we've got here, and then we can jump to the profile from there. So the user that I will be updating is Victor, and he's got that same MC profile there, standard user. There he is. He's got the MC standard user profile. He doesn't have any permissions assigned to him right now. So we'll first update the profile to include access to this application, make sure that it's visible, make sure that it's set as his default. So every time he logs in, that's the one he jumps to. So I will edit the profile, and then so we'll make sure that the mission control and the mission control lightning applications are not visible for him. We don't want him to have access to all of those different parts of the application. So maybe just this application, I'll make sure this is his default and he has that set to visible. And then I can click save from here. So now that he has access to the application, now we want to include access to the different the fields and the records and the objects. So for that, I'll be using a default permission set that comes with Mission Control. So you might have noticed that when you're creating or when you're using default Mission Control permission sets, you might find yourself cloning them to be able to adjust some of the permissions. And I have a suggestion where you can use a permission set group to remove some of the access if you're looking to remove some of the access. So generally you would go into the permission set assignments and assign the permission set over there. I would suggest using the permission set group assignments. And what this will allow you is to be able to group multiple permission sets in one place. And then you're able to also mute access to certain fields. So I don't have that created right now. So let's go ahead and create that first. I'll open this up in a new tab, and so just permission set groups is what you want to look up here. And then from here, you can click new. So this will be for the MC team member. And then we'll just give it a description. MC team member with access to MC full, no financials. So we'll be giving the access to the full application and excluding the financial part and the MC team member app, and save. The benefit of using the permission set groups and the muting set along with it is that when you clone it, when you clone the permission set and remove the access, it won't update automatically the permission set because it's a clone, a custom one. Whereas if you're adding it to a permission set group, the default one will be automatically updated as in when we add new features. So you won't have to keep on cloning it every time there's a new update or keep on adding that. So that'll be one less thing for you to worry about. So I'll go into permission sets in group and then I will add that in. So I'm able to add permission set from here, and then I'll look up the permission set that I'm trying to add, which is the mission control full, sorry, not this one. Mission control full, no financials, this one. I'll add that and done. So now we've got that permission set in there, but we still need to remove access to certain things. So because this mission control full permission set gives them access to the application as well, the original application that comes with the package, we want to remove that access as well. And I'll show you what that looks like right now. So I'll assign the permission set group first. I haven't muted the access just yet, so he'll still be able to see that permission, that application. So MC team member, add that in. Now if I log in as Victor, he's got that mission control license assigned to him, so I should be able to log in as him. You'll see that I still have access to this mission control application, and that's because of the permission set that I assigned, and that it grants you that access. Even though I removed it from the profile, it still grants you that access because we've added it through the default permission set. Now we want to remove this access. We only want them to be able to access the team member app, right? We don't want them to access this application, so I'll just log out of here now, and then add the muting permission set. So in this case, I won't have to like clone it. I'll just be adding it to the permission set group. So if I go in here to the permission set group overview, there's another section here which is called muting permission setting group. So I'll click on that, and then I can create a new muting set here. I'll leave the labels as is and then just like save once that loads in. Yeah. Okay, let's use a different one. So we have that permission set ready for us to use, the muting set ready for use. So we'll now go into the assigned applications. So we'll remove the mute that access from here. So as you can see, this access is enabled from that the default mission control permission set. So we'll mute that access, put a mute column there. We'll save now and save. Now, if I go back in as Victor, log in, I won't see that mission control application. I'll see a different application there. So I've got the MCT member application there, and that's my default application when I'm logged in as Victor. So we've still got a few more adjustments to make, and then we'll see all those different changes in there. So next up, we'll talk about how you can update the permissions on the role record. So if I go onto Victor's role record here, and I'll edit that. There's a lot of fields that here that you can adjust, so you can change the access to a lot of the things within the application. So I've got let's go down to the section on console default, console settings. So this is the page you see when you go to the mission control tab, where you're able to see the launch pad, the control pad, the progress pad. Maybe I don't want Victor to be able to access all of that. So what I'll do is I'll set a default tab for him where he's able to access the launch pad, so he can create those new records if he needs to. He doesn't need access to the management tab or the control pad. He just needs access to the progress pad and the launch pad. And then what I'll do is I'll adjust some of the settings on the project overview page. So if I jump over here to the project overview page, if you think Victor's not going to be using a lot of the tabs on the project overview page, you can adjust those from the role record here. So I'll remove for example, the insights tab. I don't want him to see that, or the details tab. Maybe he's not going to be using that much. He's not going to be using expenses. We'll leave risks and issues there. We'll remove billing. We'll remove the revenue recognition, the scheduler, the budget, and we'll leave that there. So there's other permissions here that you can adjust as well. But so these are the main ones that I'm adjusting for now, and we can click save. So once that saves, we'll should be saved now. Let's just double check. Yeah, that's been updated. So we can get out of here now, and then we can log in as Victor, and then check to see his access, if his access has been applied. So I'll log in as Victor now, and I'm now seeing the default machine control application in there that I created. And then if I try to look up the other application, I don't see any application in there. These are just the tabs, the one you're seeing here. So another thing to note here is that because we updated the access from the role record, he's now only able to access the launchpad and the progress pad, and the one he landed on was launchpad as we did on as we set it up on his role record. And for the application itself, we added just the log time utility. So that's how you can control that. So if I jump into the same project that I have open here, so if I've got this action here that I opened up from my own account, and I have full access to the application right now. So if I jump to the financial information section, okay, I'll have to find another record. Let's see if I can copy this in here. I'll have to log out first. Let's find an action where there's some dollar values that we can compare. So maybe this one. So as you can see on this action, I've got some dollar values that I can see because I have the full permission set. But when I log in as Victor, I won't see a lot of this information here. So if I go back into users, I'll log in as Victor, and we'll bring this here, and we'll copy the action URL, open that action. So from Victor's access, that has been removed from his page layout, and I'm not able to see any information here compared to from my view where I'm able to see all that information there. So that's how you can control the um, using the permission set. And now whenever there's an update made, because you're using permission set groups and our default permission set, our permission sets will be automatically updated, granting you that additional access without having to constantly look into it and figuring out what needs to be updated. So that's the team member app created. I'll also be creating another app which is a bit more stripped back version. But the main key features that will be allowing users access to is to manage projects at a higher level. So we'll close out some of these tabs here, and we'll jump back into setup. I'm logged in as Victor. I'll log out now. Okay, and now we will create the MC Lite app. So I'll jump back into the app manager. I won't create a new one. I'll just clone from the existing one. So there is the MC team member app. So I'll just clone it from here. So I'll give this Lite app. Leave the same logo and the color. Next. I'll leave the same settings as is. Next. So we'll add in a couple more utility items. So maybe this user is going to be using some more, like the add issue, add risk, and add action. So I'll add in add action, add in add issue, add risk, add issue, and maybe they're not going to be using the requirement one, so we'll leave that as this. So first up, log time, then add action, and then add risk, and then add issue. So I'll update the labels and we'll update the panel width as well. So 480 by 600 and take this as well. Add action 600 and 40 by 600. Okay. So for the add action, I'll be updating the icon as well. So I'll go into choose icon. So this will be the setup assistant guide. This one. Risk, it's going to be late. And then for issue, it's going to be puzzle. There you go. Okay, so we can go to the next tab here. So maybe we'll need to add in some more tabs for this user. So they'll be using, for example, the PMO dashboard. And maybe they'll need access to reports as well. And yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. So we'll go next. And I've got another profile that will be assigning this application to, so that'll be the MC Lite user. And we'll remove the standard user from here. They don't need access to it. So we'll save and finish. So we've got the application created. Now we can go to the profile and then make sure the correct applications are assigned. So profiles, MC Lite user, and then edit. So now I can see that this user doesn't have access to the MC member, the default applications, and they only have access to this light application that I've created, and I've set a default application with them. So we'll save that. And now we'll do the same where we grant access through the permission set group. But this time, let's say you don't want users to have access to the cost value fields, and you only want them to be able to access the billable value fields. In that case, and you still want them to have full access to the application, just not to the cost value fields. You just want them to see the full application along with the charge out rates, not what it costs you to utilize that resource. In that case, that value or that dollar amount is tracked at different levels. So that's tracked at the portfolio, the program, the project, the milestone, the action, the checklist item, phases, the role record, time logs. So it's a lot of different places, and that's really up to you if you're going to be utilizing a lot of those. So, but my suggestion for now would be to do that at the project, the milestone, the action, time log, and role record. So I'll make those changes now, but first I'll need to create the permission set group. So I'll go ahead into permission set groups, and I will create a new one for this MC Lite users, MC Lite user for ESG. ESG to allow full access to MC and MC Lite app, excluding any cost related values. That's that, and we'll click save. So I've got the permission set group created. I'll add in the mission control full permission set to this group. So add permission set and then mission control full. Again, this is going to grant them access to the application as well, which we just removed from the profile. So we'll add in the muting group set. So I'll go back to the permission set group and then jump into the muting permission set. I'll create a new one for this this one here. So that's been created. I'll jump in here and then I'll remove access to those cost value fields from the different objects as well as the application. So first I'll look up the tricks as well. So I need to update the actions. I need to update the milestone. I need to update the project. I need to update the time log. And what else? Bold. Okay. There's going to be other tabs as well, like rate adjustment, skills as well, but that's really if you're using those. So for now, let's do the application. Let's mute the application access. Do that there. Save. That's been saved. So we'll close this now. Now let's update the different fields on the object. So mute them on the object. So I'll open up edit pages for all of these. Team member, we can close this one out. Okay. So it's the value cost fields that I need to remove. So muting from the read access has been muted, so that'll obviously do the edit access as well. So I'll remove the cost fields, I'll remove the cost value, and let's see if there's anything else. I'll remove that as well. And then so this is the action level. Yeah, so the action level also contains the hourly rate. So we'll remove the cost hourly rate, and that should be good. So we'll save that now. And then we'll also go to the other objects. So this is the milestone. So we'll do so milestone won't have already, we'll just have the value, cost value. So we'll mute this, and we'll mute this. And that's about it. Go to the projects now. Again, value cost fields here. So that access has been muted now. And we'll go to the this is the time log now. So time log also has the hourly rate, so we'll remove that as well. Yep, that's done. And this is role, so we'll remove the cost hourly rate from the role as well. Jump back to the permission sets and go to the full application here. I'll just double check if the access has been muted from here. So actions. Actions. Yeah, so this access has been granted, and then we'll mute it from that permission set. So that's there, and we'll go to the. So we've made those changes, and now we can assign this permission set group to this user, and then we'll go to the. So for that, we'll go to the users. So Lexi is the user that will be getting access to this application. She's got that MC Lite user profile, and then for permission set group assignments, we'll add in the Lite user. So MC Lite user PSG. So we've assigned that permission set, so now they'll only be able to see the billable values and not the cost values. So now we need to work on the let's talk about how you can remove some of the fields from the page layout. So if I go into the object manager, so page layouts work at the profile level. So I've got these the MC Line user profile that'll be changing the page layouts for. So I'll remove some sections that this user won't be needing. So I'll do that at the action level, the project, the milestone, the timeout. Okay, so we'll go to the page layout tab, and then we'll clone from one of these. So we'll click new here for all of them, and then copy from the original, and then we'll give it a name. So MC Lite user action. Let's copy this bit here and save that name there in project. Save. Milestone layout and the original time log and save. So now we have those sections. Now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and remove some of the sections here. So let's remove the, so this user, they're going to be using the information section. They're going to need the hours section. They'll need the financial as well. They won't need the action settings here, so we'll remove that. Sorry, this is the action object. Let's jump to the project object first. Okay. So they'll need the information section. They'll need the they won't need the project settings. Let's remove that. They won't need the billing information. Remove that. They'll need the hours information. They don't need the material cost. They don't need the purchase order section. They don't need expenses either. They'll need the financial information. They'll need the status report. They won't need this. They'll need the client read only, and yeah, that's fine. For related lists, they won't need role forecast. They won't need risks, expenses, open activities, activity history. We'll leave files and notes and attachments. History, that's fine too. But then that's fine. They won't need requirements. They'll need change requests. They won't need issues. They might need stakeholders. They don't need purchase orders. They'll need rate adjustments, promote budget items, and I will leave retrospectives and checklist items. So I've just removed a lot of the things here, but if you need to add in additional fields here, you can jump to the field section and drag them to the different sections you've got here. So I definitely suggest reviewing some of the fields here just to see if that's something you might be interested in displaying that for the user. So I'll also remove some of the buttons on the page here. So that's under the Salesforce Mobile and Lightning Experience Actions. So they won't need this, they won't need this, they won't need this, they won't need this. I'll leave edit, delete, clone, and they're already on the project overview page, so I'll remove that, leave these, those would be helpful. Yep, so we'll save that, and now we'll assign this to that user. So let's adjust the rest of the page layouts, and then we'll do that last. So for the milestone, they'll be needing the information, they'll be needing the milestone settings. They don't need the recurring settings. They'll need the hours and they'll need the financial. They don't need material cost or the performance. We'll leave the system information there. So they need to see the actions, not the risks, none of this. And we'll remove this from here as well as this. Okay, done. So we'll save that now and then we can jump to the actions. So the actions, they just need the information, they need the financial, they need the hours information, they don't need recurring, they do need schedule, and maybe I can move schedule higher. Maybe they'll, they'll need that information at the very top. And they don't need material cost information here. They don't need the projected information, performance, not story, and yeah, we'll remove this section as well. So that's the different fields and sections, and now we'll remove some of the related lists. So they don't need this or this. We'll leave contributors there. We'll remove user stories, issues, and we'll leave the rest. So again, any fields that you need to add in, you can do that. For any related lists, you can jump to that related list section and then add those in if you need to. So I'll save that here and then we'll jump to the time log. So for the time log, they'll need the info section, they'll need the notes, they'll need the time log, they don't need the time log settings. They need the hours information, the financial, that's fine. They don't need this and they don't need to see this either. That's done. So we'll remove the activity history and the open activities, this as well, and we'll leave this as well. Okay, done. So I'll save this now and then we'll now we can go into assigning these different pages to them. So for that, you'll need to jump to the page layout assignment. So I'll do that for the rest of the objects as well. And then edit assignment. And then look up the profile that we'll be updating. So we're updating the MC Lite. So this is the one that we're updating. And then you can select the one you want, and then we'll apply that page layout and save. Let's repeat for the milestone. the action. And for the time log. So that's been applied now. So we can now open up one of the pages from my view, and then we can compare the differences that we see in that application. So I'll remove all of this here. Okay, so this change hasn't saved just yet. We'll save now. That's been done now, so we can close this. And so we'll open up one of the actions and review the page layout from there. So this is from Victor's axis. We'll leave that open for Lexi. So in this section, I'm able to see a lot of the page sections that I removed for Lexi, and we'll see the changes once we log in as her. Before I do that, I'll also update the role record for Lexi, so I'll remove some of the different tabs that she won't need access to. So let's let that load in. And I'll go to the console settings. So maybe she's going to be using the management pad more often, so we'll leave that there, and we'll just remove the control pad there. So I've set the default tab there, and for the project overview settings, she's going to be using the overview quite frequently. She's going to need the insights, not the details as much. Maybe she'll need the action pad, the time logs, not the expenses, not the risks, not the issue, not the billing. Maybe she'll need the whiteboard, checklist board, Gantt chart, revenue recognition, and we'll remove revenue recognition, budget, and the retro time. And so since she has access to the Insights tab, we can adjust some of the different charts that she sees there. So we're able to adjust that maybe she doesn't need to see any purchase order or purchase order information or the risk matrix. Maybe she doesn't need to see expenses. And yeah, so we can now go ahead and save this. So now once we log in as Alexi, we'll be able to see those different changes in there. So I will go ahead and jump to an action here, and I'll also open up the project here. So if I go to users now and set up, okay, so this is going to be Lexi. I'll make sure the permission set has been assigned to her. Permission set group has been assigned, yep. And then we can log in as her now. I'll open up that same project and that same action with her access, and we'll compare. So as you saw, she initially landed in that MC Lite app, the one we created for her. And if I jump to the mission control tab right now, it's launching her into the management pad as we set that on her default. And we're able to see the different tabs that we added, the log time, the add action, the risk, and the issue as well. And now if we go back to that project, and that action will refresh this page. So from the overview page, I've got all these tabs in my view, compared to Lexi, who's only got some of them. Similarly, if I jump to the Insights tab here, I'll see some of those charts are missing now because Lexi doesn't have access to them. So that's been made. Those changes have been made now. If I now go to the Actions page layout and compare that with the one that I have got, so there's schedule information, the financial information. So as you can see, the value cost fields that we removed from the via the muting set, those have been removed from here compared to what I see here. So if I jump down to the financial information section, I've got those cost fields there. So that's how you can remove the access from the permission set groups and group mutings without having to constantly clone it and add in changes. So that's the different sections. So there's definitely a few less sections compared to my page layout over here. And so that's how you can remove a lot of the features or paid fields that they won't need access to. So if I can see that the reports and dashboards have been added, as well as the PMO dashboard compared to the other application that didn't have access to them. And now, lastly, we can talk about how you can add different components to the pages. So if I go here if I log out as Lexi and then select this one project here. So Mission Control has a lot of different components that you can add to your different pages. And I'll quickly demo some of them here. So on the project, I'll click the gear icon and then I'll jump into the edit page. So let's say you're going to be using the project builder very frequently. Maybe you're converting requirements into milestones and actions, and you want that within the project page itself. So what you can do is you can add a new tab to this page, and then you can add that component onto this page so that it brings the data in the context of this project. So if I just add in a new tab here for the, hopefully that loads quickly. So we'll go custom, and then we'll give that a name. So that'll be the project builder. And done. So I've got that tab in there. And now what I can do is on the left-hand side, I've got a section on the standard components from Salesforce. And then there's a custom components that are part of the managed package from Mission Control. So let's say you're going to be adding the project builder component. So you can just look up the component that you're trying to add in and then drag that onto the page here. So this will give that a height here. So that will be 1,000. And that should load in the component there. So you won't be able to add this to every page, so because it requires some context. So in this context, it requires the project record, and because you're adding it to the project record page, it'll automatically filter it there. If you're using the project builder, the standalone component, it requires you to enter in a project that you're going to be looking up. But in this case, you won't have to because it already has that. So we'll save that now, and then we'll activate this. So I want this to be applied to everyone. So I'll apply this as an org-wide update. So this is already applied as an org default. So anybody who goes to the project page, they'll see this over there. You can choose to change this so it only applies to specific profiles or specific applications using the different tabs here. And I'll see if I can demo an example for the other homepage that we'll be creating. So that's been saved. So if I exit out of this now, I've got a new project builder component. I'm able to see all of my requirements and all of my milestones and actions, and I'm able to convert the different records into actions if I need to. So maybe the milestones, and then I can drag that in here, and that'll be updated. So that's how you can add the components. So that's just one component. There's different components that you can add. Like the resource allocation, that'll provide you with all the resources that have been assigned to this project. So there's multiple different components. There's program charts that you can add in if you need to. For example, I've got added the Gantt component here, so I'm able to access the Gantt directly from here. So that's how you can add the different components there. So that's the record page. I'll now talk about how you can add a component to the specific application. So for that, I'll go into setup. So if I go into setup over here, I'm able to look up Lightning App Builder. You can also do that from here. So if you just click on Edit Page, it'll take you to the record page, but then you can switch to creating a new record from here, a new page from here. So if you click on the Pages section at the top, there's a new oops. So a new page. And then you can go through those different steps. But for now, I'll just create one from here. So new, we can close that out. And so this will be an application page. So I'll go next, and I'll just say this is a home page for them. I'm going to be using the header and right sidebar. So we'll add some components here that the user will be frequently using. So rather than having them go through different tabs, I can add components that they frequently use in one page, add some dashboards, maybe some reports if they need to see all of that information there. So for now, I'll look up, for example, the timesheet. So they can add the timesheet here at the top. I'm looking to add a chatter feed, so I can, any notifications that they get, they'll be able to see them over here. So chatter feed. I'll update the chatter feed to show me to me, and that'll display any time that I've been at mentioned. I will add in the I'll add in some list views. So projects where I am the current person viewing it is the action owner, so the project owner. So for that, I'll need to create a list view first. So I'll add in the list view component here, and I'll look up the object that I want to add. Project. So I already have that list view created for me. So my projects, and I'll show you what that looks like. So if I jump into projects, I'm able to change the list view to all to my projects. And there's a field called project owner current user. And then if that's so that'll automatically dynamically update to whoever's viewing it. So if I'm viewing it, these are all projects where I'm the project owner. And if you set that to one, you want to make sure this filter is added in if you want to use that. So you'll find this on the action level and the time log level as well. So if you need to use that, you can do that. So I've got that list view created for me, and then we can also create a new list view for actions. So where actions, my actions where it's due, or the end date is due. So for that, I'll click the new button here, new. Um, so my actions due this week, and we'll say the uh, action end date, so the end date um, less than or equals to this week. And then we'll add in a filter so it only shows my action. So that'll be the action owner current user, action owner current user equals to 1, and done. And then we can add in some fields that we want to see that information there. So we'll do select fields to display, and we'll add in the action name. We'll add in the action. So it's this action owner, right? So we don't need to see that there. We can add in the hour scheduled, billable. We can add in the start date, the end date, start date, end date, and yeah, I think that should be fine for now. So now I've got this view here that I can use into that page layout that I'll be adding. So if I go in here, so I'm seeing my projects there, and I can set a minimum number of projects that I want to see. So minimum number 5 if I've got that many. And yeah, so now I'll do the same for the actions, and hopefully I won't have to refresh the page to see that come through. So we'll go into action. We'll change this filter to, so I'll have to refresh. So let me just save. Exit out this. So we'll activate it, and then we'll assign it to that application as well. So we want to leave the name as home. We'll change the icon to, let's give that icon. And then we'll go to Lightning Experience, and then we'll add which app we want to add it to. So the MC Light app, I'll be adding it to. And then I'll move this to the top, and I'll save this. I still need to update the list view there. So once I've completed this, I'll jump back in here and then make that change. So the one I created is this one. So let's edit that. So I'll select the list view, and then change that to maybe 10 actions, and then you'll still see a scroll bar there if you need to, or you can use the search function to find the records. But yeah, so that's we'll change that list view to set up and save. Oh, I think I didn't make it available for everyone. So select sharing settings. All users can view this. So I'll have to refresh again. So you want to make sure when you're creating the list view, make sure the sharing settings are set to all users can view, or whoever's going to be using it. So that's been added. We'll quickly update the list view we want to view there. Select the component, and then list view. Change this to actions, and then show me 10 records. And then change the list view to my actions due this week. And lastly, we can add in like dashboards as well if we need to. So you can use your custom dashboards, or you can use some existing ones that come with mission control, like the billing exception dashboard, or that's just the standard dashboard that you've got there. So I'll click here, and then it's automatically selected the one that I wanted to use, so that's fine. And then we can click save. So now if I jump back in as Lexi, I'll be able to see all this information there. So I'll go to users now. Okay. Yeah, so we've got that new home tab there that's showing Lexi's timesheet, and anything that she's been assigned, work that she's logging time to, any projects where she's the action owner. She doesn't have any, but we can give that a quick update here. So if I change this project to Lexi's, we'll see that come across there. So if I change the project owner here to Lexi, save. So now because I'm logged in as Lexi, I'm able to see all the work that's been assigned to her. I've got some actions. She's got some actions due this week, and anything that she's got in her chatter feed, someone might have mentioned to her, so she'll see that information there. Yeah, so that's all there is for this session. Hope you're able to employ some of these best practices into your orgs and